not happening. And that causes you to get discouraged. If you get wrapped up into what ain't happening, it get ugly, man. The one way to combat discouragement is with gratitude.
Some days, of course, I'll get tired. Some days I will get beat up. Some days I will get knocked down and drained, and I will have some bad days. But I will not stop. To me, every day is a beginning, a new day, a new week, a new shot at life. An opportunity to come out of the gate like a man possessed and attack the day without mercy. I am going to win.
You have to decide to live a life where excuses is not something that you're going to do to give yourself a pass. You've got to say, I'm going to do this because it has meaning for you. Do what you know, not what you feel, and you will manifest your greatness.
The most important thing is to be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become. Most of you won't be successful because when you get tired, you quit.
I've never met a person who was not successful that didn't have a great amount of self-discipline within their life. Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success.
So often the easy path calls to us to be weak for that moment, to break down for that moment.
I need you to confront you. I need you to look in the mirror and tell you, you are not gonna do me like this no more. You're not gonna keep procrastinating. You're not gonna keep thinking like that. I need you. You're not gonna continue to sabotage me. You're not.
There's things that you know you're supposed to do as a human being, things that you know are gonna improve your life. Do those things. There's things that you know are gonna make you a worse person and make your life worse. Don't do those things. Get up early, do some kind of workout, eat good foods, clean your room, make a list of things that you're supposed to do in your life, and then wake up in the morning and do those things. And no, it is not easy. You're not going to get it from anyone else but you.
What do you do when somebody's not there watching you? What do you do when you have to either do what it is you know you're supposed to do, or you get to take the play off because no one's going to know the difference? Because it's really easy for anybody to come to work on the days they feel like killing it and killing it. But what happens on the days that you don't feel like killing it? What happens on the days that you don't feel like getting out of bed? Because those are the fucking days that are going to define where you end up in your life.
When you're uncommon, get ready for the criticism. When you're uncommon, get ready for the opposition. When you're uncommon, get ready for the common people not to understand you. When you're uncommon, have uncommon ways. Get ready for people to try and block you and conspire against you.
Develop the interior core where it doesn't matter if people call you crazy. One of the things limiting you from your income, your impact, a world-class life. You care too much about what people think about you. Everyone has an opinion. Why let the opinions of other people deny you from a life that will make history?
Haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
You see, while you're over there watching me and talking about me, I'm working. I'm working hard. I'm taking things to the next level. You keep gossiping and I'll keep working. You keep talking smack and I'll keep working. You keep focusing on everything and everyone else and I'll keep working. And when you finally look around at where you are and where I'm at, you'll realize that you have nothing left to talk smack about. And you will lose and I will win. Discipline your body. Free your mind. Get up early and go. Get after it and you will become the person you want to be. And you become that person through one small decision at a time.
Losers always talk about how they hate to lose, but they don't do anything about it. Winners will do whatever the fuck it takes. Winners will show up and stay late every fucking day until they're winning. Winners will talk to anybody they can that can help them and take the lessons to heart and put them in play. That's what winners do.
You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. You stop when you complete it, when you execute it. Execution is worship. Greatness is in you. But the problem is, somebody's got to push you. The problem is, somebody's got to give you a reward. Somebody's got a project. The problem is, you're not self-motivated. You have to stay in beast mode. And so I'm looking at the clock, and I'm saying, technically, you can go back to sleep. Technically. But Eric Thomas, if you go back to sleep, you might not wake up to 3:30. You might not wake up to 4 o'clock. And if you wake up at 4 o'clock, Eric, for 30 minutes of sleep, you might be pushing your goals back a week. You might be pushing your goals back a month. You might be pushing your goals back an entire year by sleeping for 2 hours because you missed an opportunity.
Every single day in a safari, a lion wakes up. And every single day in a safari, a gazelle wakes up. If you wake up and you're a gazelle, you realize if you're going to survive, you must outrun the slowest gazelle. Because every single day when the lion wakes up, it's only one thing on that lion's mind, and that is catching the gazelle that couldn't keep up. In your mind, you're thinking you gotta outrun the fastest lion. That's not the truth. You just gotta stay ahead of the slow gazelle, that's it. Whatever it is that you do professionally, you better make sure you're not in the back of the pack.
To develop yourself, you have to go from being a person of good intentions to a person of good actions. You've got to get out of the intending world and get into the doing world.
No one will outwork me. No one. You gotta be the hardest workers in the room. Don't f the opportunity up. You gotta work every day. Doesn't end. You can do whatever you wanna do. You guys know that. At some point, you gotta be f***ing tired of not being number one. You have to be, and you gotta f***ing play angry, and I play angry.
You have to realize, you have to know, you have to accept that all your excuses are lies. Think about the things that you tell yourself, the lies you use to rationalize taking the easy road and leaving discipline behind. Think about them. You don't have time. That's a lie. You don't have support. That's a lie. You don't have the equipment or the gear. Lies. And you're too tired, or you're too sore, or you're just plain not feeling it. Lies, lies, lies. And there's you're too busy. Sure you are. That's a lie.
You can't just say you want it. You can't watch the video and say, I want it as bad as I want to breathe. It's cute to say it. But when it's showtime, when the sun comes up, you got all the books, you got all the tapes, you got all the access. Now it's time to hunt. Everybody's got lions on their profiles. Everybody talks positive about themselves. Everybody talks like you a beast. You dress like you a beast. Your image, everything about you says, I'm a beast. When it's beast time, you gotta get up and make it happen.
And these challenges that you face, they're gonna do their best to take you down. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it won't be easy. It will be hard because life is hard. That's what life is.
Everybody want to win, but everybody don't want to work. Everybody wants a reward, but everybody don't have to want to work. We all got to work. All I'm saying is don't quit. I didn't say don't rest. I didn't say don't recover. I said don't quit. Mentally, you ain't got to take off. Mentally, you can stay connected. And most people will not be successful. They will not reach whatever they wrote because when there's not anything emotionally attached to it, they're going to quit and give up. Most people were closer than they ever thought they were to finishing that big thing, but they never finished it because they didn't feel like finishing. Or they were doing it and it was pain. And most people quit in the pain because the pain hurts so bad that they don't know if they want to keep going to get to go. Because you're going to wake up most days and not feel like it. You're going to wake up most days and not be pumped up. You're going to wake up most days and not feel like doing it. But when you can get to a point that you do it anyway, then there's no way you won't reach any of your goals.
Man, stop bullshit. If you really got a problem with your life, you'll change it. You're not tired of being broke. You're not tired of being stuck. You're not tired, because if you was tired, you would actually do some shit about it. I'm tired of everybody running around complaining as if you're on the receiving end of whatever this world wants to dump on you, and you don't have a choice. It's time to grow up, man. Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Anybody who is determined to do something, who wants something to be different, it will eventually be different.
When things go wrong, they always seem to happen at once, and they just compound on top of each other. And it's pretty easy sometimes to feel beaten when you're faced with all those issues and all those problems, and they all hit you at the same time.
I don't care how good you are, I don't care how talented you are. There are some times when things aren't going to go right, and you have to deal with it. You can experience enough pain in life that it can clobber you to the ground, and you believe you can't do it. You believe that this is it for you. No, it's not.
Don't you quit.
Unless you get out every single motherfucking day and put in the work inch by inch by inch, you will never get there.
Isn't it about time you become that person you knew you always could be? How do you do that? You break the fucking mold, guys. You get the fuck out of bed when it's cold, when it's early, and go for a fucking run. Commit to one day and see how you feel. And mentally you'll feel like, wow, man, that was fucking alive. You can't talk it all the time. You gotta walk it. Commit to one day. Try it. See how it feels. Getting up that fucking early when everyone else is asleep, or when it's that cold. When everybody else says, no, this is not comfortable, we shouldn't do this. You say, yes, motherfucker, I'm gonna introduce myself to it.
Let me teach you something. How many of you have ever had a dog that had a flea on it? You ever seen a flea? One of the smallest insects. But for his height and size, the flea has the highest vertical leap in nature for an insect. A flea, man, can come 36 inches off the ground. His vertical is 36. The average person can't do that. If you capture the flea and you put him in a mayonnaise jar and you put the lid on it, he starts jumping. But he gonna hit himself on that lid. But after a while, the flea makes an adjustment. So now the flea only jumps just to where he don't get knocked back down. His environment got him now jumping nowhere near what he came.
You're in this storm and you're down on your knees and you're cold and you're weak and you feel like this is the end. You have a choice to either give up or keep going. Give up or get up.
What do you do when your battle chooses you? What do you do when something shows up on your doorstep that you did not directly cause, choose, or definitely anticipate?
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Sometimes horrible things happen to good people. Life isn't fair, and it can be heart-wrenching. And if you're having one of those dark days, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel that darkness.
I don't care how low you are. I don't care what you have done. I don't care what you have experienced. I don't care how devastated your life might appear to be. The shambles it might be in. Wherever you are in life, ladies and gentlemen, you've got comeback power.
Don't you quit. You do make a difference. You do make a difference. As weak as you are, as tired as you are, as many mistakes as you made, you do make a difference. There is something they would lose if you were not there. There was something that they would miss if you were not there. You do make a difference.
Anytime you move from being normal to trying to be exceptional, people aren't gonna like that. Those normal people, it makes them feel like so they're gonna judge you.
I don't care how good you are, I don't care how talented you are. There's some times when things aren't gonna go right, and you have to deal with it. You can experience enough pain in life that it can clobber you to the ground, and you believe you can't do it. You believe that this is it for you. No, it's not.
And that's why every true leader, they're called weird, they're called eccentric. When you do the things of real leadership, you're going to be called strange. Get strong enough in your own skin that when people laugh at you or when they throw stones at you, you keep on going.
You need to make it a habit to start every fucking day validating yourself, because life is a marathon. And this might be a challenging leg where you're like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to do that thing. Hell no.
When everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more, it's a lonely feeling. Oh, it hurts very badly. I know what that's like. They look at you with that look and say, why don't you try something else? Why don't you give up?
Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from them. Get away from them. If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never become the oak tree that oak trees are capable of becoming, because it's gonna get stifled by the 2-foot pot. Now check this out. Ain't nothing wrong with the seed. Seed just fell prey to the environment. Don't you allow your environment to dictate the oak tree that you become.
We turn tragedy into triumph. That's what lions do. Lions don't cry. Lions don't give up. Lions don't quit. Lions hunt. That's what we do for a living. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time. You go by the gazelle. You hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one.
Are you gonna let this horrible situation dictate the way you feel and the way you handle it? Are you gonna fall over, fall down, fall apart? Or are you going to face this issue with courage and with resolution? You know darkness. So embrace that darkness. Don't look away from it. Own it. Step up to the challenge, no matter what you face. Start walking. Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking. And never surrender.
You've never looked at yourself in the mirror and said, you let you down. Until you get to that point, you let you down. You're not brave enough. You want to put it on somebody else. The reason why I'm not successful is because of my boss. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I'm not getting up on time. I'm not going to work on time. I'm not putting in 120% when I'm at work. I let me down. I dare you to take a little pain. I dare you. I dare you not to go home. You ain't gonna die. At the end of pain is success. You're not gonna die because you're feeling a little pain. You thought you was just gonna have a dream and a goal, and you was just gonna wake up and just walk into the sunset. It don't work like that. You have a dream, and then life punks you. Life punks you and say, do you really want this? And so I'm telling y'all, you have come too far to quit now. You have invested too much to quit now. You have lost too much to quit now. Get a reward for your pain. Don't cry about it. Get a reward for it. It's hard, but it's worth fighting. It's worth believing. It's worth mustering yourself up, standing up inside yourself. It's worth fighting relentlessly, never giving up.
Life happens. The unexpected. The uncalled for.
the unintentional. We've been damaged emotionally, damaged spiritually.
You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or it can be the mark of defeat.
I need you to look at that sickness that's going on in your life right now, whatever it is. I want you to say, I can beat it. I can beat it. I will beat it. I must. I got a family to live for. I ain't through yet. My life ain't over yet. There's some things in life you don't need no degree for. You don't need no money for it. You don't need no support for it. There's some things in life you just gonna get through when you tell yourself, I'm gonna get through this.
The fight is just beginning. You have the opportunity to show the world.
Hey-o. There we go.
Are really made.
Thought my microphone not working before it actually mattered. That's a relief.
Don't grow because of the sun. You have to have some rain. And you've got to stop looking at rain in your life as something bad. My greatest moments didn't come from my greatest moments. My greatest moments came from my greatest defeats. Because it was during my defeat that I had to find a way to get back up.
And I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care what they say on paper. I don't care if you say we outnumbered. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. We don't run. We gonna stand, we gonna live, and we gonna die by what we stand for, and everybody gonna know what we represent and what we're part
Dre
of.
Green.
If you would be willing to fight your way through
Dre Green.
this battle, fight your way
Yes.
through cancer,
Yes,
fight
boo-boo.
your way through that
Come here.
academic struggle, fight your way through divorce,
Yeah, that's a good dog.
fight your way through
That's a
if
good
you
boy.
are willing to fight your way through that singing career, fight your way through boxing, fight your way through football, I'm telling you, at the end of the fight, there's going to come victory.
You see, in order to develop real quality, it takes time, and it takes pain, and it takes endurance, and it takes grief, and it takes trouble, and it takes turmoil, and it takes destruction and demolition. God works in the dirt. The opportunity to grow happens in your life, in your home, in your heart, in your spirit. And you are being planted, but you feel like you're being buried. When you plant a seed, it feels buried, but it was planted to rise again. And most of us think we are being buried, when in fact we are
I'm
only.
gonna start opening up the replay so we can actually look at them together.
When you are planted, that means you're going to get up again. And when you are planted, that means you're going to come forth again. And when you are planted, that means that this is not how the story ends. This is not the end. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't duck from it. Don't dodge from it. Don't run trying to get away from it, because you are not.
Dre Green.
buried. You are being planted.
Were you just going through the trash?
You crawl up.
Were you just going through the trash?
Dismal and wretched place.
You little trash dog.
Above what you were.
Ugh, baby brother. Baby brother.
Of who you are supposed to be. You will see that in the very act of standing up, in the very act of fighting on, you will become and you will remain unbroken.
There's problems that we go through that cause stress, worry, anxiety, and fear. But you might be in the battle of your life. I want to encourage you. It's not about what's happening around you. It's always about what's happening inside of you.
So stand up straight. Stand up straight and march forward. Then give someone else some encouragement. Let them see you standing strong.
I gotta let that fucking dog out.
An example.
Alright, let's start grabbing some replays. Gotta open up some spreadsheets. See exactly which matches were pitch black matches this week. We're gonna look at some pitch black matches. I want to get this rolling so I can get to editing last week's matches right now.
You're gonna get beat down. That's the way.
So we had MC versus Fagos.
Life is hard sometimes. Easy, it's not an option.
Nay. Jesus.
But it's worth fighting.
Serp versus Goat Dozo.
It's worth giving yourself a chance. It's worth mustering yourself up, standing up inside yourself. It's worth fighting relentlessly, never giving up. is worth it. You can do it. You can do it.
We had MC versus Cyber replays. Yep, that's right. Am I crazy? We already watched this week of matches.
Ups and downs in life. Things are going to go wrong. And what you need to do is to keep moving forward. No matter what happens.
Bro, we already watched this week.
Moving forward.
I'm crazy. Am I losing my mind?
Doesn't become a champion in the ring. He's merely recognized in the ring. The becoming happens during his daily routine. The practicing, the developing, the discipline that when applied consistently can get you to the next level.
Look at what most people do.
I swear I already watched
and
some of
do
these
the
matches.
opposite. Growth comes through discomfort. You look at a great athlete, it's the way they show up in the championship game is simply how they showed up in the lonely light of the early.
Hold up, I gotta watch last
of
week's.
practice.
I gotta watch some of last week's stream a little bit. Get some real music on. Turn on my Pokemon Mix / playlist. So last week, we watched this match last week.
Where I have been hurt. I have been hurt badly.
Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Still feel very uncomfortable with it, but whatever. SBJ versus King Darius. That's me. I'm SBJ. Snowy Karama versus Potatoes. ZY. Lay Chonk Enthusiast versus Ali Boy. Versus Ali Baba. MLG Poplio versus Ty Lord. Ice versus Neji. I have to pay very close attention to this matchup right here. We got JJ versus MC, yeah. And then Gotcha right here. Okay. I think that's all the matches for this week. Now I'm going to go through and just try and order them in like an exciting order here. And tell me if the volume audio is weird. Let's do MC and Ice at the end. MC, Ice at the end, and then Potatoes. Is that his name? ZY? We'll move that to the beginning. And that order seems fine. We'll come up with a storyline for the video later. Anyway, how are we all doing today? Does this thing look right? I feel like my stream isn't even working today. I just spilled protein shake on my nose. Alright, we ready to get started with the stream, ladies and gentlemen? Dre, my dog is walking under my desk. Dre, come here. Come here, Dre. Come here, real quick. Come here, big boy. Here. Oh, it's my big boy. It's my big boy. This big dog right here. Oh. Why you look like you burp? You look like you burping. Let me let you down. Come. Let's put you down. There you go. He clocked in at 85 pounds at the vet this week. So he's feeling like a real big guy. Real big guy today. Okay. I'm fucking bored. Let's start doing some Pokemon so I can get on with plug the stream one last time. Dre Green, just go to bed. Go to bed. Come on. Come on. Dre Green. Just go to bed. Just chill for an hour. Let's get it popping, guys. Lights. Dre wants to leave. Okay, Dre, come on, let's go. That look better or worse, the light right there? I feel like I look like a freaking vampire now like that. Oh, I look like a vampire no matter what. Get like a little light. You guys want that? Show. There you go. Looks better to me. So I believe this is week 3 now of the Draft League. Double check, get my facts straight. Week 4. Week 4 matches. Check one last match. MC versus Darius already happened. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sean Bond Showdown, and today we're going to go over some Draft League replays. How's that for an intro? That's pretty good, right? Should we do another one? Do another one for the second video? Let's come up with another one. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Live Bon Jovi, and today we're going to be going over some Pokemon Draft League replays. That's sad. I don't like Live Bon Jovi. I guess it's alright, but Sean Bon Showdown, that's got a ring to it right there. Okay. Turn that off, because I'm just going to be looking at myself the whole time if I do that. That's not good for the camera. All right. Do I have my music going? Perfect. All right, let's turn on some more exciting music. What's going on, everybody? Now that we got some more exciting music going, let's play this. First off today, we have Snowy Karama versus Potato Z4. Some are saying he might potentially be the real owner of this league. We get an Arcanine lead versus a Garchomp. You immediately see the Arcanine is not Intimidate, which is something I actually discussed with him. Really want to focus on not triggering Defiant on the Arcanine. Sorry, on the Annihilate. Garchomp ends up getting Stealth Rocks up. Rillaboom not going to be able to remove those, but gets a huge knockoff on Sarina, who definitely prevents Grassy Glide. So that's an interesting matchup there. Both users end up losing their items. The Choice Band gets knocked off early. Yeah, could have predicted a Choice Band just due to that original damage, but honestly, I feel like Snowy should have maybe just not U-turned way sooner. But really, I just don't get the Sarina switch in. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, if I'm being honest. Surf in on the Registeel, Iron Defense, gonna get a body press. This feels like, I don't know, both these players are just not playing how I would expect them to today. Yeah, that body press was really obvious. I don't see why you wouldn't go into something like an Arcanine in that situation. Yeah, so you had Overheat on the Arcanine. That was perfect. Sorry, I don't mean to be a dick, but I'm just expect better. So we go into the Rillaboom. Just cuts that Earthquake power in half, allows him to survive a hit he would have otherwise died to. Then the Stone Edge goes off and gets KO. Sneasler comes in. I'm not sure if it's going to be strong enough to take on the Garchomp. Let's see. Not enough, but hopefully that defense boost he got allowed him to survive. But the Rough Skin, the Close Combat, the Super Effective, it's not going to be enough. Now, it's a terrible matchup. Garchomp looks like it's in position to just sweep this game. Terra Fairy holds on, just barely survives, and Alluring Voice gets the KO. Okay. Yeah, I feel like we just see an Iron Moth sweep from here. But shout out to Pikachu. You know, some said it might never get a KO, but now we're contending with a speed-boosted Iron Moth. Sludge Wave, not enough to KO. Scorching Sands, not enough to KO either. Iron Moth just holds on. And the E-Speed gets proc. We got an Annihilate sitting in the back, a Belly Bolt getting charged up after an Overheat. Nope, no charge. And an early GG call from Potato. So how's this going to go? Annihilate comes in. What does he take? A Scorching Sands, boosting the power of that Rage Fist. And it connects. All right, now we got the Excadrill. Is this game right here, can Excadrill really hit hard enough? No, and it's not even fast enough. Honestly, surprised to see the Excadrill not outspeeding the Annihilate. Annihilate's at 306? Okay, I take that back. I thought it was slower than that, but it's actually a little bit faster than Excadrill, so that makes sense. 4 KOs. I guess that helps Snowy's differential, but if we're going to see him in playoffs, we're going to need to see him play better. Which, you know. Oh my god, do I gotta redo the whole thing? Oh, thank you. Thank you, PSL, I appreciate it. We're gonna redo that whole thing. We're gonna redo the whole dang thing. That's... This is the first one, and definitely not the second try at recording this fight. We got Snowy Kurama, the Terrain Sneasler team we saw last week, versus the real owner of this league. Let's see what happens. I already know, but it's still an exciting match, so let's see. A little bit different, disappointing performance from both of these players, but, you know, we got some interesting matchups going on here. The Grassy Terrain is cutting the power of that Garchomp in half, and a Choice Band, you can kind of assume it's a Choice Band based off the damage he did to the incoming Sarina with the knockoff. Doesn't really make sense. And then I believe an incoming U-turn here. High jump kick doing not enough damage, and then we get a U-turn. Surprised to see maybe like a triple axle was missing from the Sarina. It just seems like they weren't doing enough damage to each other. He should have done that U-turn in the first place, and that Sarina shouldn't have been in there in the first place. So let's go back over these turns here. I want to talk about this Empoleon Registeel situation. So we get U-turned out, right? And then we go straight into the Empoleon. And then he plays the Registeel. At this point, I'm going into the Arcanine, especially after it reveals the moves it has in this matchup. I find it interesting they didn't go straight Arcanine. Instead, he opts for the Surf, which is not doing anything to Registeel. And now he can threaten with Body Press. Which I believe he does end up just going for the KO outright. Yeah, very nice. That's how you do it. That's what Registeel and Regirock does. Now he plays the Arcanine that he should have gone for in the first place. Pulls out the Overheat, gets the KO. Easy. Garchomp comes in. Easy switch into Rillaboom, who takes it due to the Grassy Terrain cutting the damage in half. But he's not really able to do anything. Surprised to see he doesn't Grassy Glide to at least get a little bit of chip. because Garchomp's able to outspeed and just get a KO since Rillaboom was at such low health. Sneasler comes out, close combat, drops the defense boost it had gotten from the grassy terrain, and a Simple Earthquake is super effective and knocks out the Sneasler. So here we go, we got Pikachu, and you know everybody wants to see a KO from this thing. The 1-point Pokemon goes Terra Fairy, gets the alluring voice, and KOs the Chomp. Very, very nice. Iron Moth comes out, gets a speed boost, Fiery Dances, but no special attack boost. So it's not true sweeping potential. Arcanine, who many may suspect is Assault Vested after that Sludge Wave, only doing 30%. And now Potato, the opponent, says GG at this point, which is a surprise, in my opinion, that he would say such a thing. Ends up getting a Toxic, Belly Bolt, really not doing a damaging set, doesn't get a charge from the Overheat. Annihilate comes out, Scorching Sands boosts the power of Rage Fist, and that's going to be able to KO anything. Annihilate is in fact 4 points faster than Excadrill, and should be able to just KO with close combat. There it is. Again, the first half of that match was just not that great. You kind of started to see the sauce later on there. Shout out my boy, shout out my boy. Doogie-O gave me a hand. Appreciate that. Could have ruined the whole stream if you didn't do that, if we're being honest. How's the hair? We got good hair? I know we got good hair. I just checked it on stream. Look great. Next up, do I want to go straight into my replay? Yeah, we'll go straight into my replay. Let's talk about what happens. So I lead Gastrodon. I felt like it just has a good matchup versus a lot of his team. Prevents the flip turn from Palafin, so he had to just go straight out into it. And how did I treat that? Yeah, I knew he was going to switch, so I just went for a spike right away. Now, Wo-Chien comes out. I figured that this thing was probably going to end up Leech Seeding, so I went into my Grass type to just prevent any sort of Leech Seed. As a U-turn comes out, it's quad effective. I go into Moltres, who just gets knocked off. I think it's interesting that he decided to knock off into a Pokemon that can't get knocked off, the Ogerpon. So I'm not sure what he was expecting from me there. So he goes into Porygon 2, copies my Flame Body. That's interesting. Then Quaquaval comes out. He Terra Ghosts as I click knock off for huge, huge damage. And then I believe he goes for a recover as I go for a flip turn. Yeah, I kind of expected to recover there, so we decided to flip turn out into something with maybe a little more damage. The Lumina Crash. All right, let's actually go back a couple of turns. I just want to say that this paralysis here was huge. That Thunder Wave hitting, huge. Me being slowed down really prevented the Quaquaval from getting off the chain. It was kind of set up to sweep in this game, but I played it too early. So considering that's down, I go for the Espathra, figuring I could get a Lumina Crash here, KO the Porygon, or anything that comes in will get 2-hit KO'd. Or I could force out Wo-Chien and go Terra Fairy, get my speed boost, and I kind of thought the dog could just get off the chain in this position. But Porygon ends up holding on with only 2% health after the Eviolite drop, which is just, I don't know if that was a roll, but it was crazy. And then he immediately gets a paralysis. Immediately gets the paralysis, which is just, it hurts so bad. Then he gets a full para, and he's able to recover. And now, expecting me to stay in, he's able to go into his Dark type and take the Lumina Crash. Just an all-around bad turn of events for me. Really unfortunate. But, you know, I don't mean to disparage my opponent. He also played very well. Ends up going into the Klefki. I believe he tries to set up screens here, and I timed my U-turn nicely. I'm able to go out in the Salamence. So he Thunder Waves, which is to be expected. If you're running Klefki, you probably have Prankster Thunder Wave. It's incredibly powerful. I expect this. I have a Lumberry to cure it, and now I got my substitute up for free, and I can dance behind this substitute. Unfortunately, he predicted this and packed a Fairy move. A lot of times you'll see these players neglect to bring a Fairy move or a Steel move. They'll oftentimes just bring like Spikes, Thunder Wave, Reflect, Light Screen, and just go full utility. King Darius didn't make that mistake. He brought the Draining Kiss, which prevented the Salamence sweep here. Now we do get the KO on Klefki before he managed to get up screens. We do have a speed boost, we do have an attack boost, we're looking good. I decided to let him KO the Salamence. I didn't think it was really serving any purpose here anymore. Maybe it could have been like a Cinderace switch in later. Maybe that was a mistake. But I should be using my Moltres as my Cinderace switch in. We end up going for the Ogerpon, who's a speed tie, getting a play rough off. And Latios just barely hangs on with 8% HP. Gets a recover off. Doesn't look good. I go for a U-turn, expecting him to switch out or hoping to get a big amount of chip. I believe that U-turn should have KO'd. End up U-turning into the Cinderace and playing the Gastro. I think this was a mistake. I think I could have gone Moltres here and clicked any number of moves. But instead, we go Gastro, who he's then able to U-turn on. I do give him some Rocky Helmet chip. He goes Latios. So Gastrodon doesn't really force out the Latios, and I'm worried he's going to start Calm Mind boosting. Instead, he ends up going for the substitute. So I just have to break this with Play Rough. I end up just breaking it with Ivy Cudgel, which is more accurate, smart. Aura Sphere does a ton of damage, but not enough to KO, and I was sturdy anyway, so he wouldn't have been able to. And I believe I clicked Play Rough here into the Porygon 2, and we get the KO on Porygon 2. So now we're actually in the lead. He's down 2 Pokemon. Cinderace hits the field, U-turn, once again getting chipped down due to the Rocky Helmet. Palafin comes out versus my Water Absorb Pokemon, which is an interesting decision. He decides to bulk up. I go for a Mud Shot, lowering his speed. And now here's an interesting interaction. I end up going for Clear Smog, which does do some chip and resets all his stats, including those that I manually lowered, get to go back up. This is a bad matchup for me because he's got that Drain Punch bulk up. So I kind of just have to keep... what I should have done is continue to Clear Smog, but I decided to Mud Shot instead. I decided to Mud Shot, which ended up missing, so I really got no advantage out of it. If I had managed to slow the Palafin down, I could have then gone in my Ogerpon and Power Whipped. But instead, I got Jet Punched to death. What exactly happens? I believe the Ogerpon gets Jet Punched too, so I guess it didn't matter. But, you know, could have been a better game, maybe. Who knows what would have happened. Maybe, whatever. Either way, I got outplayed by a Palafin at the end. I got absolutely wrecked after a single boost. And that's not even the Pokemon I was fearing in that matchup. Anyway, how are we feeling about these matches this week, guys? I think my opponent played well. I kind of feel like I got a big disadvantage due to some paralysis, but I also feel like my opponent played very well, so I don't want to blame it on that. That's just the game we played, and you know, that hurts, but whatever. The first match was a little disappointing between Snowy and Potato, but here we are with Ollie Boy and Lechonk Enthusiast. Honestly, these guys are mad cooks. These guys are just always got something crazy going on. I think the Sneasel, excuse me, this guy ain't even running Hisuian. He's running Sneasel with like an Eviolite, and actually got mad respect from me because that thing got a gnarly KO against an Ogerpon, I believe. And then Lechonk Enthusiast with just Enamorus, Smeargle, Mousehold, Pinekurchin, and then Quartra. I mean, his team crazy. His team is absolutely crazy. Let's play the day match. Do we get the Smeargle lead? We do. As all Smeargles always lead. Ends up doing nothing. Goes into the Pinekurchin, who's not going to get KO'd by Sneasel, but a ton of damage, potentially. Scald comes out. Probably no burn on the Slowking. Smeargle comes out again on the Slowking. Okay, looks like he's going to try and set up here. Alright, we get the webs up. That's very nice for him. What's the Sneasel looking to do? Maybe triple axle past this Focus Sash? Is that what we're seeing? He needs this third one to connect. There we go. So, he got good mileage. He got webs and Stealth Rocks up. And Sneasel manages to KO very nicely. Slowking Galar hits the field. Interesting. FS in the chat says, where's the Stone Axe? I don't know if Smeargle gets that. I'm assuming he does. It's a new move that will both set up Stealth Rocks and attack, so it's kind of just outright better than Stealth Rock. Ends up laying spikes. And then he's got several layers of hazards up, and he's just going for the Enamorus Calm Mind Sweep, potentially. What's that going to do versus a Corviknight? Does it have any kind of coverage? I haven't seen too much of Enamorus Therian. Nope, just ends up going into the Terra Poison Pinekurchin, who's able to absorb those T-Spikes, which is very cool. Future Sight comes in, KOs the Pinekurchin, and the Electric Terrain is down for the rest of the game. Iron Bundle comes out. Surprised to see it kind of forcing out that Corviknight. Iron Bundle potentially KOing Slowbro. Ends up going for the taunt. What is going on? This match is crazy. What did you think he was going to do? Crit on the Slowking is huge. And a freeze. He got the crit freeze. And then a second crit. This guy's out of his mind. That is a seriously unfortunate series of events. Terra Blast into the Enamorous does just about nothing. Interesting running a mixed Sneasel. That is just something you never, ever see. Both of our opponents running very interesting sets this week. Late in the game, going for these spikes, but he still has 5 Pokemon, so it's not exactly bad. He's still got plenty of switches, but he easily lost his best pivot. Getting a lot of Calm Mind boost. Sneasel gonna struggle to triple axle through this, I think. Do all 3 connect? He is locked in with Encore, but he is fast. He's slower. Okay. Triple axle. If all 3 connects, this should KO. Just barely hangs on with 6% health. Draining Kiss KOs in about a half recovery, letting him stay in the game. Just super unlucky. Diamond Storm, not super effective, but only doing 48%. Gets the defense boost, which is useless versus a special attacking Pokemon. Diamond Storm, 47%. If he could get a crit here, it would flip this game on its head, but unfortunately, he has to play for the, I believe, I'd go Volcarona in this situation. I think Volcarona kind of resists and can maybe go for some Quiver Dances to try and fight back if it was like Quiver Dance Roost. He does end up getting a crit, but it's not doing enough. Needs to go for the Volcarona here. Yep, go for the Volcarona. Overheat, still doesn't KO. Unfortunate for Ollie Boy as Lechonk manages to secure the victory with a Calm Mind Enamorous sweep. I am shocked, to say the least, that Enamorous manages to win this game. Let's go ahead, skip a few turns. Nobody wants to see this shit. I guess he ended up KOing the Enamorous with Volcarona, but then he's got to fight the crazy Iron Bundle, who just ends up flip turning for the victory. GG's. He got a burn. Hey, Iron Bundle's not going to forget that burn. That's what I'm saying. What the fuck can I say? Alright. Those of you who know the stream, friends of the stream, fans of the stream, people who have been here before, you know that Tylord, dear friend of mine, likes to talk. You know, he'll talk Pokemon with you all day if you'll talk back with him. And my phone was blowing up all week about this match, telling me every plan, every which way, every Pokepaste, and I still don't know what version of the team he brought. But I did hear this match is about to be crazy. So let's see. I saved it. I wanted to see it live. Reaction. All right, we got Jirachi versus the Moltres. Perfect lead choice. The Stonewall, Roaring Moon's not booster energy, eats that Fiery Wraith with ease. U-turns out, as the Moltres U-turns out as well. Looks like our opponent brought a more defensive variance of his team. He didn't bring that Landorus Eye, as the Tylord brought a very interesting version of his team as well. I think he's missing some of his more powerful Pokemon, but I don't know. I just like the way his team looks. It looks very sick. So, a little interesting matchup. Not a lot of mileage from either player at this point. Roaring Moon comes out, eating the Moltres up again. It's almost like he's using this thing defensively. Moltres goes down to a Stone Edge Roaring Moon. As Mach Punch comes out and I'm surprised he let that Roaring Moon die to the Hitmontop Mach Punch. Like, I would have switched if I was him. I probably would have gone into the Decidueye or something. Or maybe the Clefable to Moonblast. Now we got some chitter chatter in the chat. What are they saying? Said, OMG, why is your moon dead? First ever top to do anything. And Poplio said, because I didn't want a hard Avalugg and take a CC to the table. Moon useless with the bird gone anyways. Okay, so he doesn't think he needs the Roaring Moon at this point in the match. So now it looks like we're going to be playing the slow game. Sorry, I had to swallow, and I had to be quiet for a second so that I'd notice later in the stream when I'm editing this that I need to edit that part out. Let's continue. So, Swampert comes out, gets paralyzed from the Jirachi Body Slam with that Serene Grace. Earth Power into Archer Hawkins, the Hisuian Decidueye, ends up roosting. This is a dangerous position for the Swampert, as he ends up Ice Beaming, doing a ton of damage, and manages to force a switch. Goes into the Blissey to eat that next Ice Beam, doubles into Hitmontop, calling it, shockingly, if I'm being honest. Oh, no one saw that ending. No one saw that ending. What do we got here? So did he double? So he goes Chansey on the Ice Beam. And then on the same play, he called it and goes Hitmontop. How does Tylord even call that? What's the logic in that switch for him? And then he tries to go into the Avalugg, who shockingly takes that close combat with ease, even though it's super effective damage. Oh no, because he's Terra Water. That's what's up. Interesting. So then they kind of both double. He goes into Lati, he goes into the Clefable. Surprised to see Lati willing to T-Wave the Clefable. Out comes Torterra versus the Chansey. Looks like a great opportunity to Shell Smash. What does he got? No Ice Beam likely. Ends up healing his whole team. Ends up healing the entire team. And he just starts ripping attacks with a single Shell Smash. Goes Terra Steel as he protects. Interesting. Heavy Slam could have KO'd the Clefable. Chat says, sir, there's something missing on your face. Oh, you thought that mustache was permanent? Heavy Slam takes a big chunk out of the Jirachi, and then Headlong Rush is more than capable of finishing the KO. Out comes Avalugg. Switches out Torterra, which is honestly fine. He's Terra Steel. He's still at 100% HP. He could come out again at any moment. Goes into the Ninetales. What is he looking to do with the Ninetales? Goes for a Freeze Dry. Oh, was trying to Freeze Dry the Terra Water Avalugg. Yeah, I guess that would be a great way to KO it. Seismic Toss into the Hitmontop. Goes back into Avalugg. Close combat. If he had called the Ninetales there, that would have been just a goated switch. Here we go. Ninetales Alola. Once again, gonna probably rip a Freeze Dry. Goes Chansey. Does Tylord call it? Goes for a Nasty Plot. What kind of damage can Ninetales do after a Nasty Plot? Still only 22%. As now we're seeing a Calm Mind Chansey be revealed. What do? We go into the Hitmontop. Out comes the Seismic. Forces it out with a close combat. And yeah, he's just not afraid to just keep CCing into that thing. Let's see what he does here. Goes once again into the Ninetales. No Heavy Slam, I don't believe, on this Avalugg, who would otherwise do great versus this. Swampert hits the field versus Chansey. Has Swampert already knocked off? Has Swampert Earthquaked? What does he have for this? Knocks off. Removes the Eviolite. Now Chansey's not nearly as defensive as it once was. Seismic Toss comes out. I'd say we go for Torterra and start Shell Smashing again. Do we have any kind of grass attack? It's Headlong Rush, Heavy Slam. Do we have any grass attacks? Just Headlong Rush again. Not enough to KO. As he goes for the Iron Defense, that's game. I believe that's game. Heavy Slam can rip through Clefable. He goes for the Protect, trying to get some leftovers recovery to continue to survive. What do we see? Come on. I want these turns. Go faster. Clap. Dead. Headlong Rush. Into Archer Hawkins. Dead. Headlong Rush. Dead. There we go. Snowy says, also glad to catch Tylord the GOAT. Yeah, what a fantastic match. Hey man, I know you say these streams are late at night. Thank you for coming. I super appreciate you coming. I didn't think we'd be able to make you come, but here you are. We made you come. Jesus Christ, am I 12? I guess we got another match to watch. No one thinks that's coming. That coming joke was funny. I thought I'd get a bunch of holds in the chat. Okay, what do we have here? So here we go. We got Matcha Gacha with the Greedent team. This is the team I actually ended up forfeiting to earlier in the season. Versus Goat Dozo, Landorus, Kyurem, Scissor. A very Gen 8 OU immediate post DLC team. Yeah, this honestly, Go Dozo's running some real Gen 8 stuff, and Matcha, I don't even know. I guess it's Gen 9 with Meowscarada, but it also looks like Gen 3 with a Greedent plugged into it. Let's run it. Let's see how this goes. We get the Skarmory lead, likely going for Spikes, Stealth Rocks, as we get a Sticky Web up from Spite Ops right away. 2 layers of Spikes. T-Spikes coming out, just a Hazards game. Skarmory, Brave Birds into the Spite Ops. 2 layers of stealth, 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up. This is just an entry hazard war, and I think Goat Dozo's winning. Does either team have removal? Not really. I think all of these Pokemon who could formerly defog have since lost defog. So these are going to be up the entire game and totally shape the way this goes. Yuxi's levitating above the sticky web, so it's not able to be slowed down. But Spectrier is able to come in and start shadow balling. I believe it gets Will-O-Wisp too, so even if he goes Meowscarada, it's a problem. Greedent takes the Lumberry, heals its poison. Spectrier goes for the substitute, Spectrier goes for the Nasty Plot, then the Will-O-Wisp tries to burn the Greedent, misses as a huge knockoff, removes those leftovers. A second missed Will-O-Wisp, and the knockoff continues to do a ton of damage. Little Draining Kiss for recovery, and then a critical hit. Goat Dozo could not have gotten more unlucky. Matcha has had perfect iron RNG, double dodge, attack boost. If one of those things did not happen for Matcha, he does not win that matchup. He may still win the game, but he wouldn't have taken out that Spectrier without every single turn going his way there. Out comes Regice with its heavy-duty boost, able to not be slowed down and not be poisoned. Kyurem with a substitute and a Dragon Dance up is very dangerous. Ice Beam's able to take out that substitute, but I don't believe... Oh, Breaking Swipe. Okay, so it's a physical Kyurem that's now been slowed down by Dragon Dance. Do we go for another substitute? Another Ice Beam comes out. Maybe he dances? I don't think it's doing more than 40% to him. Maybe he can get Speed Boost and the Breaking Swipe could KO, potentially. Go for another Breaking Swipe here. Goes into the Skarmory. Maybe Rocky Helmet Chip KOs the Kyurem. Yep, Rocky Helmet, but he survives with 1%. Leftovers gives him a little recovery. Icicle Spear, is this loaded dice? Nope, it's not loaded dice. Doesn't do enough damage, and Skarmory's able to roost back to full health instead of getting KO'd. Goat Dozo having a very, very unfortunate game. Scizor still has Defog? Good, he needs it. Maybe not in this matchup, but his team needs it. Kyurem with Smackdown. Now Skarmory's in Earthquake range, especially because it just roosted, but that's not really how that works. Out comes Yuxi on the incoming Earth Power. Okay, so he's running a special Landorus. Maybe Nasty Plot Landorus. Smacks down again. He's gonna force something out. I bet he Smackdowns again into like an incoming Skarmory. Instead, lets it get Earth Powered. And Yuxi's able to take all that damage away with the Pain Split. Matcha Gacha is just dominating this match. U-turn isn't even doing enough damage to Yuxi. He goes into his Urshifu. I would have maybe gone into the Scizor, done like a Technician boosted U-turn. Instead, absorbs a Psychic Noise, which was a very nice call. Gets the substitute up. Maybe he's able to click Bulk Up here. Very nice. Some Bulk Ups. Brave Bird. No, Body Press. Okay. Doesn't want the recoil. Goes to the Body Press instead of the Brave Bird. But that allows him to get another Bulk Up off. Brave Bird not KOing after these two Bulk Ups. Does he have Drain Punch or something for this? He does have Drain Punch. Not doing a ton of healing. Rocky Helmet Chip. Brave Bird enough to KO? Not yet. Maybe a Wicked Blow could be enough to KO because of the crit. No! The Drain Punch on itself is enough to KO. Yuxi is a tank. You are absolutely right, Tyler. I'm amazed it was able to take that damage. Terra Flying takes the Wicked Blow and is able to Terra Blast. Honestly, Gouging Fire Terra Flying is terrifying. Great prep designing that thing. Morning Sun. Incoming Earth Power. No, Smackdown. I think that was a good Smackdown click. I think that was a good click because he still could have gone into like Yuxi or something. And then he can still threaten. Scary Face lowers the speed, lowers the attack, lowers the speed, smacked down. Honestly, I would have just considered U-turning because there's no universe Matcha Gacha was letting you take Gouging Fire that way. So we go into the Scizor. Does Yuxi have any way to touch this? Maybe he's got a U-turn. So he U-turns out. Goat Dozo rightfully complaining in the chat, double Will-O-Wisp, kinda lame. It was also the critical hit mattered. And then the Protean Dark knockoff knocks off the Choice Band. That's GG. That was a tough one to watch. I mean, it was determined from like turn 2. No, it was determined like turn 6 with all those Will-O-Wisps and crits. I don't want to say that Matcha didn't prep properly. Yuxi was great. Gouging Fire was great. The Skarmory, I think he wins the prep game. He did better. But it also hurts to see someone so clearly losing to RNG at the same time. All these high point Terramons are a problem? Dude, I know. It's really intimidating to prep. Like I'm facing, who am I facing this week? Supposed to face Neji on like Sunday. Dude, I don't even know where to begin prepping with that. I've tried breaking this team down and looking at like, how can I beat this team? Dude, I can't. I don't know how to beat this team. It's crazy. Anyway, we got 2 more matches left this week, ladies and gentlemen. Lando is a shell. No knockoff Toxic or Defog. Absolutely couldn't agree more. I don't think it even gets rock polish anymore. So you can't do double dance with it. It only gets swords dance. No knockoff Toxic or Defog. Yeah. Yeah, that thing is more of a special breaker these days. That's insane that it's mostly like Nasty Plot, Earth Power. What'd you say? Yo, Terra Wake in the sun? Am I missing a Terra Wake team? Yeah, yo, that's what I'm saying. Yes. I'm facing Terra Walking Wake, Chlorophyll, Lilligant, Eviolite, Ursaring. Those are like the weird core to go with Ninetales. Then I gotta face Regieleki, getting up those screens, Galarian. It's just, dude, these top 3, Gliscor, Zamazenta, Chien, Pao. Fuck me, those guys are so hard to prep for. Would I rather play the Terra Chi-Yu? 100% I'd rather play the Terra Chi-Yu. I think that team looks really defensively weak. Actually, I'm saying that. I haven't looked at this team in a while. I see he's made some trades. That changes things. I haven't really analyzed it. Week 1, I would have much rather played the Terra Chi-Yu. Totally. Anyway, let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. We got MC versus Cyber. We're gonna put the Rain team on the bad guys team because he beat me. But just barely. Pelipper versus the Kilowattrel. Great call from the Kilowattrel to play that. Ends up bringing out the Archeralodon, who doesn't like taking that Hurricane very nicely. Takes 48%. Potential 2-hit KO if that's a roll. But he ends up switching out into the Umbreon to take this Draco Meteor quite nicely. Sorry, I had to make sure the audio was down, so I went quiet there for a second. So he ends up switching into his Floatzel, and he calls that, goes into the Kilowattrel. Switches then into the Suicune again. Okay, so I don't know if that was like a tactical decision. Maybe he didn't want Kilowattrel to take that hit. Ends up going into the Suicune, takes the hit quite nicely. He goes Arch, responds with Booster Energy Treads, who's able to absorb that Electroshock, but the special attack still gets boosted. He goes for the Endure, which is an interesting decision, and then he Stealth Rocks. I'm wondering what that Endure is for. Maybe triggering some sort of Custat Berry to beat his own counter. Supercell Slam. Isn't that like an electric type attack? That's crazy. Aqua Jet into the Treads, not enough to KO. Another Supercell Slam. This Iron Treads is low-key going very hard. He goes for the Endure. He Earthquakes. What berry are we expecting to proc? We get a stamina boost. It does end up being Custap Aura Sphere, so I called that with the Custap. I just wasn't sure what move it was going to be. Probably should have switched there. Maybe not. The booster energy had already been wasted, so it's kind of just death there for him. Maybe he could have considered going into the Iron Valiant, but then he runs a different risk. Goes Terra Ground Superior. Might have the power to Terra Blast through this thing. Ends up going for the Leaf Storm boost as he gets up a layer of spikes. MC has to play very carefully. This Superior could very well sweep here. Well, I guess not. So Cloudsire's unaware that special attack boost is doing nothing. He's resetting with Haze, and then that Terra Blast only did 30%. So I guarantee you this Cloudsire was designed just to beat that Superior. So good job building that, MC. Here we go. We got Wish versus Spikes. We kind of got a wall versus wall. Cyber ends up going to use Yawn, trying to put the Clodsire to sleep. And then out comes the Kilowattrel. Out comes the Fortress. A lot of hazards up. A lot of hazards in this league in general this week. A lot of people kind of relying on those. The Hurricane doesn't connect on the Clodsire, which is game-changing, quite frankly. As it would have done 42%. Does manage to get the KO and the self-confusion hurt. Second Hurricane to miss. Second Confusion to hurt itself. Can we get another one? Archeralodon goes down. Goes for a third Hurricane. This is, as Cyber says, peak Mons. He's just clicking buttons here. He's just trying to get these KOs. No confusion. Cloudsire's getting that HP back. He's praying for another confusion, if we're being honest here. But if he could stall out these recovers, MC only has 4 left at this point, and he's confused. Gets the Earthquake. Wrong button there. Clodsire switches out. Out comes Fortress. These Hurricanes, he's got to be running low. He's only got 7 left. Does a ton of damage to the Fortress. He's just clicking buttons. Kilowattrel is here, and Kilowattrel is making a statement. I'm going to keep clicking Hurricane until you find a way to beat it. It's just holding MC down, continuing to get these confusions, and Clodsire keeps hitting himself in the face. It's embarrassing, Clodsire. Hold it together. Out comes Tornadus. Is this thing Specs? He just hit another Hurricane for the win. Kilowattrel just got like 18 kills. What was that? Holy shit, that was crazy. That was a crazy ending to that game. Not enough people bringing Rapid Spin and Defog. All the grounds get rocks and spikes and nobody gets defogged. No, that is one of my biggest issues with Generation 9. 100% agreed. Not bringing hazard removal is a bad move, IMO, especially if you see your opponents tending to bring that. Let's see, what are you guys saying here? Electric type jump kick. Electric type jump kick? Did someone jump kick here? Oh, Supercell Slam is the electric type high jump kick. That's right, yeah. Not even Terra Kilowattrel either. Yeah, that was just a Kilowattrel going insano at the end. Insano at the end. I feel like a lot of mons aren't appropriately priced due to nerfs/buffs. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Can you give us some examples? I would love to discuss some examples, but nothing's springing to my mind. I still think Landorus is good. He's still at like 12% usage in OU. Like, it's a good Pokemon. It's just not offensive anymore. It's just like a really good defensive pivot. I think the nerfs to Recover and the removal of widespread Toxic are a good thing. I think the nerf to Recovery was a good thing. It feels like stalling that recovery out is an option now that it never was before. As for removing Toxic, I'm going to go ahead and give you a half agree there. I think it was nerfed too much to the point that you really don't see it getting played anymore. Because Poison Pokemon are bad and they're the only ones who have the ability to Toxic anymore. So I would still like to see some Pokemon who maybe thematically makes sense to have Toxic. However, I think they just stripped too many things of it. But everything having Toxic was just as overbearing as everything having Knockoff. So them taking away Knockoff from everything was a good thing. Only not half as many Pokemon as last generation have Knockoff. I think that's good. Toxic, they just went a little too far with, but I think their head was in the right place. Dozo is only 11. Peck's only 11. Tort is 7. Yeah, you know, Terra is one of those things where it's like, you don't know how powerful it is until it's experimented with, which each individual mon. Dozo and Peck's at 11 is really tough, right? I'd say especially Dozo is very good with Terra. Snowy says he agrees with Toxapex. Yeah, I think Dozo, especially because then you can still afford like a 10-point Terra Pokemon. And what's in like the 10-point tier? What do we see at 10 points? You could have a Terra Blastoise. You could have a Terra Reuniclus, Terra Sandy Shocks. Yeah. Terra Crawdaunt. You could afford Terra Gyarados still. Those are the only things that really look like screaming at me right now. As good combinations with Terra Dondozo. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, one more match between two of the scariest teams in this draft league. Before we get started, I'd like to break this down for you. We got FSF Ice Ick. If you haven't seen this before, he is the most hyper-offensive team in the league. He's got Enamorus, he's got Blaziken, he's got Dragapult, Glamora setting up screens, and has consistently proven the power of a Dragon Dance Necrozma. However, we see something new this week. We see Clodsire, who there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, is not hyper-offense. So we'll see what he plans to do with this defensive beast of a wall. versus Neji Boston, who I am watching very closely this week to see if I can spot any weaknesses, and I hope you do too and slide in my DMs because I play him next week and I have no idea how I'm going to beat him. Gren is 17. Yeah, Gren is 17. I'm being honest. Battle Bond with Terra Water Hydro Pump still KOs like 99% of things. It's really strong. It's just not as good as it used to be. I think dude, it's really strong. If you pull off that one combination, it's hitting. And that combination is not that hard to pull off. That being said, I'd only lower it like maybe 3 points max. I'd lower it down to 14. Maybe to 15. Battle Bond is nerfed, but it still hits like a truck. If you go Terra Water Battle Bond, it hits hard as hell. It's not as good as it used to be. We agree on that. But I wouldn't lower it too many more points. 16, 15 sounds reasonable. 17 is very high. All right, anyway. Let's get this match started. And what are we seeing here? We got Lilligant coming out, Glamora. What's Lilligant looking to do? Goes Terra, Water, Quiver Dance. It feels like Neji sort of predicted the Glamora lead. Mortal Spin, poisons it. Interesting decisions. So Terra Blast, Focus Sash, he's able to get some hazards up. Goes for the Power Gem, doing a chunk, not considerable, but it makes a difference. That plus the poison. A nice Giga Drain there, very nice. Able to get a little recovery, not a huge deal. But he's gonna need that because he's on a timer with the poison. Goes for another Giga Drain. Midnight Cruisin', the perennial nickname for Necrozma. Ends up pulling a Trick Room out. Interesting, going for Trick Room to outflow the Quiver Dance Pokemon. Ingenious. Photon Geyser does huge amounts of damage. What did he just do? What just happened? Okay, so he goes Necrozma thinking he can beat this Let me just repeat this. So he goes Heatran thinking it can beat the Necrozma, but ends up just getting Earthquaked out of this world. Chien Pao maybe should have just gone into this in the first place, but this threatens a Terra on the Necrozma. Now, did he predict Terra Ground? Going into this match, there's Terra preview, so he knew it was Terra Ground, and he does call it. He goes for the Ice Spinner instead of the knockoff. Well done, Neji. Ice says the crit mattered, and Neji agrees with him. Flare Blitz ends up burning the Gliscor before it can get the Toxic Orb. That changes things right there. That definitely balances things out after the critical hit that mattered. Ends up getting the Reflect Up. Knockoff knocks off the Light Clay. Ice proving he really likes the Light Clay. Screens Dragapult. So if you're going to face him, be careful of that. U-turn, U-turn, U-turns. Toxic onto the Lovesick Enamorous. We're seeing a lot of status this match. And a lot of boosting. What's he doing? So he's doing Iron Defense, Calm Mind. Are we going to expect maybe a Stored Power, Draining Kiss set? We do got Draining Kiss on the Gliscor. He is poison. He's going to need that Draining Kiss to sustain in this matchup. What do we think the Zamazenta is? Goes Earth Powers that. It's... Whew, even at that special attack boost, it's still doing nothing. Behemoth Bash doesn't KO due to the Reflect and the Iron Defense boost. But now the Enamorous has officially ran out of time. We go into Quagsire. Body Press doing nothing. As Quagsire manages to get a KO on its first turn, even on the Hyper Offense team. The friend-shaped Pokemon constantly blows us away. Toxic on the Quagsire, puts it on the timer. Super effective into the Weezing, who looks like balls. Shiny Weezing looks like balls. Earth Power again, not enough to KO, but it doesn't seem like Weezing's going to be able to outpace this damage, even though he's trying to do so with his Pain Split. Maybe gets a Confusion due to the Strange Steam. Doesn't. Earth Power knocks it out. Does Chien Pao have what it takes to pull this victory out? He can Sucker Punch through the Dragapult. He obviously beats Quagsire. I don't think Sucker Punch is able to KO Blaziken. Let's see what he does here. Ice Spinner KOs. Blaziken comes out on the rocks, takes a little chip, goes for the Protect. Psychic Fangs, interesting. Speed Boost. Here we go. Goes for another Protect, goes for a second Speed Boost. Daring. And then rips a Close Combat. That was brutal to watch, and I'm sorry, Neji. What was that ending? What was he doing? What was he thinking? I feel like he could have just... I don't know, I feel like maybe he speed boosted. So he protected to be faster than Chien Pao, which makes sense. If you have it, use it. I would have too. Maybe not. Maybe... Did he reveal an item? No item revealed. Well, I don't know. Someone's gonna go back and be like, obviously it was Life Orb, probably, but it doesn't say it right here. So, maybe he was trying to avoid like a swords dance soccer situation? I don't know. I feel like that second protect was just weird. Anyway, that's the stream, you guys. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. How you guys doing? I just need to chill. I'm gonna edit last week's stream, make some thumbnails. Hopefully have last week's stream start getting uploaded this weekend. I'm in tough shape. I'm overworked. But here we go. Gotta keep making content, baby. Keep making that gravy train. Nobody let Ice get Necrozma ever again. Yeah, dude, he's terrifying. Wonder if he built Necro min speed expecting Trick Room. Well, he set his own Trick Room, right? With that Necro? Such an interesting choice. I mean, what was his game plan? How? Yeah, he set up the Trick Room. That's so weird, dude. I'm shocked to see him running trick. Like, what was his plan with that? Take some hit, set up Trick Room, be slower than Chien Pao with Quagsire? Dude, I don't know. I don't even know his plan. It's over my head. I mean, what was his plan? It worked, right? I guess that's his plan, is do exactly what it did because it worked. Yeah, but if he saw that, terrified. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I think we're gonna end the stream and start getting to work on this week's videos, fellas. Thank you for coming, everyone. I appreciate you all, as always. Make sure you hit that like button whenever you see a video. I'd appreciate you click on it, help with that retention. Anyway, bye. Bye-bye-bye, bye-bye-bye.